going to be using a size I 5.5mm crochet hook, and I'm using Red Heart Super Saver, and we're going to be working with the fan and V-stitch, and I started with a chain of 42. If you want to make it bigger or smaller, the fan and V needs to be done in multiples of 8 plus 1, and then you add one more for the turn chain on the base. But I started with a chain of 42 if you want to do it like me. We're going to start off doing a single crochet in the second stitch from the hook, like that. And then we just want to go across, putting one single crochet in every stitch for the length of the chain. Just like that. After you make it to the end of that first row of single crochet, you want to chain 1 and turn. I'm going to go back into the same exact stitch and do a single crochet. So I went in the same one, the very first one. And now I want to skip 3 stitches, and in the fourth one, skip. I'm going to go and do 9 double crochets, all in the same stitch. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Got to get them all crammed in there like that. And then you want to skip 3 stitches again. You kind of want to pull this back because sometimes the stitch gets hidden up in here and you don't want to miss it. So skip 3 again, and then the fourth one again, single crochet like that. And we're just going to be repeating this. Skip 3, and then you do 9 doubles in the next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and then pull this back a little bit so you can see. Skip 3, so there's 1 hidden there. You got to make sure you count it. 1, 2, 3, and then the next one, single crochet. Skip 3 again. Skip, and in the next one we will do 9 doubles. So you just want to repeat this to the end. I'm going to do my 9 doubles, and then I'm going to skip 3 and single crochet, skip 3 and do 9 doubles. Just finish out this pattern to the end. Okay, I made it to the end, and you should have just enough stitches. After you skip 3, your last should have 1 more chain left for the single crochet. Now you want to do a chain 3 and turn, and then we're going to go and do a double crochet in the same stitch here. Like that. Chain 3, double. Now we want to do a chain of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now let's skip this whole entire fan stitch. Just skip this all, and then the single crochet down here, we will do a double crochet like that, a chain 1, and another double in that same spot. So that just formed our V-stitch. So now you want to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip this whole fan and come over here to this single crochet and do another V-stitch. So we'll do a double crochet, a chain 1, and then another double crochet, all in that same chain 1 space, or single crochet space. And this is kind of floppy right now, but we'll get it attached. But that's how it's supposed to look. And you just want to keep repeating this. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip this whole fan stitch and work a V-stitch down here in this single crochet from the previous row. So we do a double, chain 1, and another double, like that. So just keep repeating that to the end. Okay, I'm coming to my last stitch here. Now we want to go into this last single crochet and do a double crochet, but instead of chaining 1, we're going to just go ahead and do another one without chaining, like that. So it kind of matches the other side right here, because there's no chain 1 in between that. So now you want to chain 3 and turn your work, and that chain 3 is counting as a double crochet. So you want to go back into the same very first stitch and do 4 more double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So counting that chain 3, it's kind of like you have 5 double crochets there. Now you want to find the middle stitch of this span, which is the 5th stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one right here. And we're going to single crochet this chain in place. So we're going to go through this one and let's put the chain on top. We're just going to single crochet right over that chain, just like that. So that holds that in place. Now we're going to come over here to our V-stitch and do 9 double crochet in the middle of this V-stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, like that. Now we're going to come over here and find our 5th stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to go into it, and then we're going to put this chain on top of it, and we're just going to single crochet it all together, and that locks that in place, like that. Now we want to come over to the next V-stitch and do 9 double crochets. So this is just going to be the repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And come over here and find the center in this span, the 5th stitch, and we'll single crochet this chain space in place, like that. So we'll just repeat this to the end. I'll come over here to the next V and do my 9 double crochet. Okay, I just did my last single crochet into the top of this fan stitch. Now at the end here we want to do 5 double crochets in the top of this chain 3 that we did. So the top stitch of the chain 3. So we do 5 doubles, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now that matches this side. So now we want to chain 3 and turn. We're going to skip all this, and we're going to go into the single crochet here and do a V-stitch. So we'll double, do a double, chain 1, and another double. So there's our V-stitch. Now you want to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip all these spans, this span stitch, and V-stitch into the next single crochet. So a double, chain 1, and a double. And again, this is going to be all loose until we attach it on the next row. Chain 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip this, V-stitch into the single crochet. So we'll just repeat this to the end. And then when you get to the end here, I just did that V-stitch, we want to do a chain 2, 1, 2, and we're going to slip stitch into the third stitch of my chain 3 here at the end. Just slip stitch right into it, like that. Now you want to chain 1 and turn. Now we're going to single crochet right into the same stitch that we just did that slip stitch into. So single crochet like that, and now we're going to do 9 doubles in this first V stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then we're going to single crochet this chain in place by finding the 5th stitch and single crocheting it all together like that. Just like that. And then we want to jump over here to the next V stitch and do 9 doubles again. There's 9, and then 5th stitch of this fan, single crochet this chain on. Let's put the chain on top, single crochet it all together. So we're just going to repeat this pattern to the end. Okay, then when you make it to the end here, you want to single crochet in the top of the turn chain. Like that. Now we're just going to kind of be repeating these rows that we've been doing, rows starting with row 2. So we want to chain 3, turn, and we want to go back into the same stitch and do another double. So we're repeating a row we did earlier, if you kind of remember it. And then we'll do a chain 5 across this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, skip all this and V-stitch into here, the single crochet. Chain 1 and another double. Like that. And then we'll need to chain 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip all this and V-stitch again into the single. And then we'll repeat this row again to the end. And then after you get to the end here, we did 2 double crochets into this turn chain, but remember last time we didn't chain 1 in between. We just did 2 doubles in a row with no chain 1. Like that. And you can see I did that right down here. So if you want to keep repeating these rows, this is what we just did right here. Look up and see what comes next. What comes next is these double crochets. So you need to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn. And you can see we did, counting this chain 3 in this stitch, we had 5 doubles. So here's our chain 3. We want to come back and do 4 more double crochets. For a total of 5 altogether. So that's what I always do when I have to go back and look at rows. I just follow these rows again, and I see that I did my 5 total with that chain 3. And then I can tell that I jumped over to the 5th stitch of this group and single crocheted this chain in place. And then I jumped over to the V and did 9 doubles. So we're just going to keep repeating these rows and just follow them. And if you have to, you can remind me to see what comes next. Until I get, I'm not sure how many rows of this I'm going to do. Quite a few. So I'm going to keep working, repeating all these rows, 2, 3, 4, and I'm just going to keep repeating them, and 5, until I get a big piece of fabric. So I'll let you know here in a little bit how many rows I do total. Okay, I got my big piece of fabric done, and I did 16 of these bands. I didn't really know how to count the rows, but like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so 16 of the rows of the fans. And then I ended where it's curved like this, and I'm going to go ahead and straighten it out. So I'm going to, look here. See, I'm going to chain 1 and turn. Like this. Now I'm going to do a chain of 2. And I'm going to go ahead and do a V-stitch down here in this chain 1 space, like that. Sorry if you hear that noise, my husband's in there vacuuming. And then instead of chaining 5 like we normally would, I'm going to do a chain 2, 1, 2, and now I'm going to slip stitch into the center stitch of this, the 5th one, 1, 2. Slip instead of single crochet, like that. And now I'm going to chain 2 And I'm going to do my V-stitch again down here. Like that. Now I want to chain 2 again. Chain 2. Slip stitch into the 5th stitch. Chain 2. And then V-stitch. So I'm just going to repeat this pattern all the way across, and this is going to straighten out these curves a little bit, like that. So just repeat that to the end. And I chain 2 after that last V-stitch, and then I just want to slip stitch into the top of this chain 3 at the end. Like that, and then I'm going to go ahead and tie it off. And then I want to sew in these tails. I'll sew them in a little bit. Now I'm going to sew the bag together down the side. So I'm going to sew it wrong side facing me. That way the seam is on the inside. And I'm going to slip stitch it together. So I'm just going to start with a slip knot on my hook, and I'm going to start in the very corner of this stitch up here, and then the corner of this other piece on the other side, and I'm going to go ahead and go through the slip knot on my hook. Maybe try that again. Like that. And now I'm just going to work across, going in a stitch here, and then picking up a stitch on the other piece, and slip stitching. And I just want to do this all the way down until my piece is sewed up. And the stitches aren't going to be real noticeable, but just do the best you can to evenly space them out. And you want to do this to both sides. Slip stitch both sides together. And if you wanted to use single crochet, you could, or even your yarn needle would work too. It's just really whatever is easiest for you. So go all the way down and then start on the other side and do that side. Okay, once you got it the side sewed up, go ahead and flip it right side out. And now I'm going to start working on the top here. So I'm going to start with the slip knot on my hook, and I'm just going to start in a stitch up here, any stitch up here. I'm going to pull through the slip knot that's on my hook, and then I'm going to chain 1. Now I'm going to do a single crochet in every stitch around my bag. Some of the stitches are going to be hard to see too, so just do the best you can. I'm doing the side right now where I evened it out the last row we did. So where there's the two chains we did, we know we have to put 2 stitches. And then one has to go here where the slip stitch was. And then there's 2 more chains, so we have to do 2 more stitches. So this is just kind of a way you can tell where they go. And then the V-stitch, we'll put 1 in the first double crochet, and then 1 in the chain 1 space, and then 1 in the second double crochet. And then I'm at a chain 2 space again, so I know I need 2 single crochets in that space. 1 where the slip stitch went, and then I'm at a chain 2 again. So you just want to repeat this around, putting 1 double crochet in each stitch, the best that you can see anyways. Try to evenly space them out. And when you get to the corner here, we're just going to keep going around back to the beginning. Okay, I made it back to the beginning, after I did that round of single crochet at the top. Now if you want to use a stitch marker here, probably be easier because I'm kind of working rounds. So I made it back to the beginning, and I'm just going to stick some kind of stitch marker here, this piece of yarn. And now I'm just going to jump over and single crochet into that very first single crochet that I made, like that. So that counts as our, I'm going to do a row of decreases now, so that counts as our first single crochet. I'm going to do 5 single crochets in a row. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now I want to do a single crochet decrease, which I'll decrease over these 2 stitches. So I want to go in, grab my yarn, drop a loop, and then go into the next stitch, grab my yarn, drop a loop, yarn over, and go through all 3 stitches, or all 3 loops. That took 2 stitches and put it into 1. So now I want to do 5 single crochets in a row again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then I'm going to decrease again. I'm going to go into the next stitch, drop a loop, and then the next one, drop a loop, yarn over, and go through all 3. Now I want to do 5 in a row again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now another decrease. Just like that. So you just want to repeat this pattern back to the beginning. Okay, I'm going to do another round of decreases now after that last row of single crochet. And I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to do 5 single crochets in a row. And then a decrease. And then I'll do 5 more. And then a decrease. So let's repeat that one back to the beginning. Made it back to the beginning, and now I'm going to move my stitch marker up. And now I'm just going to go around putting 1 single crochet in every stitch until I get back around to the beginning. And then what I'm going to do is move my stitch marker up, and I'm going to do it again, 1 single crochet in every stitch. So I'm just going to keep doing rounds of single crochet, and I don't know how tall I'm going to make it, so I'm just going to keep doing my rounds of 1 single crochet in each stitch, and I'll let you know how many I do in just a second. I went ahead and did 2 more rows of single crochet after that, and then I just slip stitch into my first one and tied that off. And now I started on a quick liner for it. What I did is I took a piece of fabric and I flipped it inside out, and I cut it to size, and I left a little bit of a hangover on each side, and then I sewed it up the sides. And you can do it by hand or with the sewing machine. And I did it inside out, and then I'm going to put it in a bag like this, inside out, slip it in like this, that way when you open it up you'll be able to see the liner. When you're putting a liner in a bag though, you just kind of work with it for a little while to get it into the right spot, just to get it all laid out right and get it worked with. And then you're going to need some pins to pin it down to the top so you can sew the top. I'll probably have to work with it some more, but I'm just going to fold the top down like that. And you can decide how far up on your brim part that you want to sew it. I'm going to fold mine down. I'm going to pin mine down a little bit on the brim, because I might sew some buttons on here and I don't want to have to sew it through the fabric, even though it's really not that big of a deal, but I might bring it up a little bit here, wherever you want to sew it on at. But and then what you want to do is this, pin it in place. Yeah, I'm just bringing it up to the top, I guess. If I want to sew buttons on, that'll be alright. I'll just sew them on through the fabric. And you want to pin it in the same spot all the way around. And again, you'll just have to keep working with it until you get it laid out flat and stuff. But just do your best and get it all pinned all the way around. Okay, I worked with it and I got my liner pinned in pretty good. So now I'm just going to start with my thread and needle. I might have to straighten it a little bit as I go, but I'm just going to start sewing it on. And you want to get a good matching thread and just go along sewing it up. It's really easy, and you could use the sewing machine too if you wanted to. My sewing machine that I got from a wonderful YouTube subscriber purchased that for me because I didn't have one. Thank you so much, Dolores. I still can't thank you enough. She just got that for me just to be nice, out of the kindness of her heart. And I would be using it right now, but it's actually set up in my living room and my baby's in there sleeping right now, so I'm just going to go ahead and sew it real quick by hand. But I love the sewing machine. I thought she's the sweetest lady to do that for me. So I'm just going to keep going around like this, sewing it on. Oh, I'm out of the, I wasn't even in the screen, sorry. Sewing it just like this all the way around. And you can remove your pins as you go. My scissors aren't really the straightest, but try to get them as straight as you can, I guess. I'm not the greatest at hand sewing stuff, but so you just want to get this all sewed in all the way around, and then I'll start doing, show you what I'll do for the handles. I got that liner all sewed in. It's probably not the best sewing job, but I just wanted to do a quick little liner in it. And now I'm going to put some handles on it. You can do any kind of handle that you want, really. I got these handles. I got this old bag that I got at a resale shop for like $1. And I'm going to use the handles that are on it. It's got 2 short ones and a long one. So I'm just going to cut them off here with a pair of sharp scissors. I'm just going to slice them right off of here. Okay, I got them off there. It was hard. I got the dullest scissors out of any crochet channel on YouTube. I just had to work at that, getting them off there. But I got them. Now I'm just gonna sew them on here with my yarn needle. Now you can make handles too if you don't have any. But if you do, all I'm going to do is sew them on with the ring, through the ring. There's really no way to do it. Just however you can get them to stay on there. Just go around through the ring. And if you are putting on handles, you may not have rings on yours. You can make a strap and do it that way. This is how I'm going to do it. And I'm just going to do this to both handles. And you do your handles however you want. It's your bag. If it's more functional for you to have one big handle, just put one handle on it. If you'd rather have two, you can go ahead and put two. Whatever works best for you. It's your bag, you design it. So I'm going to go ahead and finish sewing on both my handles real quick. I got my handles sewed on and I kind of been decorating the front of my bag with some beads and stuff. And I decided that I'm going to put a strap here to go to a button in the front. And you don't have to do that if you don't want, but I'm just going to real quick. I'm going to start in the 4th stitch here. And all I'm going to do is just do rows of single crochet. So I'm going to go back into the same stitch. Oh, I got my yarn split on me. I hate yarn that splits. Okay, I'm going to go through that slip knot that's on my hook. That. And I'm going to go into the same stitch and do a single crochet. And I'm going to do one single crochet crossed. In the next 5 stitches. So that kind of put my strap centered in between these handles, but you can put your strap wherever you want. And I'm just going to chain one and turn and just keep doing rows of single crochet. But I did 5 rows and now I'm going to leave a buttonhole. I can show you how to do that real quick. After you do however many rows you want, you just chain one and turn. And then single crochet into the next stitch. And then you want to chain 3. And then single crochet into the last stitch. Like that. And then chain 1 and turn. Now you just go along and you single crochet in every stitch. And every stitch of that chain 3 that you made. Put a single crochet in it. And then after this I'll probably do a couple more rows of single crochet and then I'll tie off and hide my tails. Just like that. Then I have a buttonhole. I just been putting some beads in. I put a tassel and just whatever on my bag. You can decorate your bag however you want. And that's going to be it. That's all I'm going to do. I'll put a better picture of it up at the end because my workspace is really small. I'm trying to get a bigger one, but for now it's real small. And I hope you were able to follow along with my tutorial, okay? Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and check out all my other tutorials. I have a whole bunch of bags and purses. And you can always check me out on Facebook and post all your crochet items on there. Everybody would like to see them. And until next time, have a good day.